Hey everybody, we are going to get ready to start drawing our rabbit here. This is my version of Harris from the book that we just looked at. I have gone ahead and started the painting of my rabbit using the liquid watercolors that I just showed you how I made them. I have my brown up here, I have black, I have yellow, and I'm gonna sneak some blue in there too. So I have those ready to go. I'm going to draw with a pencil, and then we'll put our first layer of paint on. And then when that dries, we're going to go over our lines to make them darker. You can use a Sharpie if you want to, but I'm just going to use a black colored pencil. If you don't have a black colored pencil, you can certainly just go back over them darker with a regular pencil, or you can even go over them with a black crayon if that's what you have at home. To start, we're going to start here at the nose, this part right here, and you're going to see that it's going to be lowest on your paper, not in the middle, but about right here in the middle. We're going to start with the curve of that, the bunny's nose. So let's get started with that one. So it's kind of like a U shape. And I like these rabbits because they're kind of goofy looking. So if your drawing isn't perfect, then you're on the right track. It's okay if it looks a little goofy. Then we're going to do a straight line down, almost like a J right here. So we're gonna go down and over and bring that over. I'm just gonna extend that out a little bit. Our next step is to connect from here around and then from here around. And again, we're not looking for perfect today. We're just kind of looking for a fun little drawing. After you have drawn the nose and the kind of cheeks there, we're going to draw the side of the head. And we're going to start here, and right above there is where the eye is. So it doesn't start here. We're going to bring it up. Here's where your nose is. So go over a little bit and then go up a little bit. And again, if I'm going too fast, just pause and catch up. And I'm going to practice this line. I'm going to go down and around, and it connects to the bottom of this. So now that I'm feeling good about that line, down, around, connects to there. Same thing over here. And I'm just going to follow this line right over to here. I'm going to practice it first. When I feel good about it, I'm going to go ahead and get that in. Now at the tops of these lines, we're going to draw two ovals, pretty nice size. Inside those ovals, another oval. You can color that in for the eye, color the other one in for the other eye, and we're going to get started on kind of the nose reaching up to the top of the head. So this line is going to come up and around, up and around. And these lines keep on going all the way to the top corner of your paper for the ears. So let's keep this all the way going, going, going. It's not going to the corner. It's just going to there for the one ear. The top of this eye, we're just going to do a little bit of a ziggy-zaggy line for the fur of the rabbit. And then we're going to bring this way out. And I just stuck my hand in my paint, and we're just going to let that go there. Actually, I think what I'll do is, since this background's going to be black, and I made that black, I'm just going to get some water on there, and we're just going to be okay with that little happy accident. And I'm not going to stick my hand in that again. All right, there we go. Inside the ear, we're going to draw the inside of the rabbit's ear. And then we're going to do the same over here, where you're going to start from here, and you're going to bring this line all the way up. Catherine Rainer likes to draw her rabbits with lots of skinny, long parts. The skinny, long part of this animal happens to be the ears. At the top here, we're going to connect to do the top of the head, and I'm going to do a little bit of a zigzaggy line here for the head of my rabbit. And finally, a little zigzaggy line that moves out, zigzaggy line that moves out for the body. You could either put your whiskers here, or when I was looking at her drawing, I noticed she had these kind of whiskers over here by the eyes. So we'd have to improvise over here a bit. Perfect. That's it. That is all that is required for the drawing. It's not a very complicated drawing at all, and you can move right into painting. I have a empty container of just clear water that I use to rinse my brush out between colors, and I'm going to start with the brown. So I'll have my brown container. That's black. Here's my brown. They look a lot alike. I have my brown container and just dip it right in. I leave the markers in there because why not? Just make it more brown. And I'm going to go right in there with brown, keeping it off the eye, staying on the toes of your brush. I'm working on regular, like white computer paper. It's not really great watercolor paper. So I just wanted to show you that I can even make an artwork just using plain old paper. Just be careful not to scrub hard with your brush. If nothing is coming off your brush, pop it in the water. You can use just water to move your paint around. You see how it got lighter there? Or if you need more paint, just go right back into your brown and bring that brown back again. She works in a wet into wet technique, so while your paints are still wet, don't be afraid to, I'm gonna grab my yellow here, pop in some other colors and let those mix together before they get dry. Again, I'm not pressing hard. I'm holding my brush kind of far away from the front just to kind of dance on the surface. I'm gonna go in my yellow again and pop in some yellow here. I did notice in some of her work, she would put a pop of another color. She had some blues here and there in her work. And you might find that you'll have to just step away from this for a little bit. After you have painted, let it dry before you put another layer of paint on it if you feel like it needs a little bit more, because at some point your paper is going to get too saturated and is not going to want any more water on it. This is what the black looks like. I don't know if you can see, but if I glide my brush on the side here, it looks a little bluish. If I paint with it, do you see how these are the black markers, and that's how the black looks when it is left to sit in water for quite some time. So it makes a really nice blue, not really a black. That's why I have my pan watercolors nearby, so I can use the black. But just remember, if you're using this black, always mix it here first. Add plenty of water, or else you're going to really have a lot of color on your paper. And I was using on mine the black in the background. I did that after I was completely finished with my painting. Ooh, and look at how nice some of those colors are blending together. I think I'm just gonna leave that like that and see what happens. So after you're all done your painting, and you feel good with your rabbit and the way that you've painted it, you're going to, not until it's dry, you have to wait until your painting is completely dry. Grab either a black color pencil, or again, you can go back over with a regular pencil, a crayon, a black marker, whatever you have that's darker, and then just make these lines a little bit darker. I really made the nose quite thick, and these lines down there, I made those darker than anything else so that they would pop out a little bit more. I used the black in the background to kind of help my bunny pop out. And then my last finishing touch, which I haven't finished yet, is I'm taking my black color pencil and I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of a shadow all around it, where I'm going dark here and then getting a little lighter, dark and then a little bit lighter. And that kind of helps my rabbit kind of pop out of the background just a little bit more. If you don't want to use black for your background, you don't have to. You can use another color that will kind of help make it pop. But I just used, I used the same brush. You can use a bigger brush or whatever brush you have on hand. And I made it look really painterly. And even some of the brown kind of snuck in there a little bit. But that's it. So now that my rabbit is dry, all the watercolor has dried up, I have my black color pencil to go around everything and just bring my pencil lines out even darker. I just wanted to show you not to make everything dark, especially around the face area. So for the nose of the rabbit, I'm going to trace it, and I'm going to even make it a little thicker than the other line. So you can use a variety of line weights in your drawing for added interest. So not every line on your paper should be the same thickness. Make some a little thicker than others. While I'll still trace all of my lines with my colored pencil, I'm not going to make them all the same weight. So I want some to kind of pop out a little bit more than others. And when you're finished with this, you can still go back over with watercolor. Obviously I need to, since I'm not finished with my painting. And layering your watercolors like that really gives it a nice effect. Also putting that kind of black shadow or black kind of value around your bunny is going to help it pop out of the background even more. So I just wanted to show you that final step of tracing your lines, bringing some of those lines darker than others. If you don't have a black color pencil, that's fine. You can always use a Sharpie. You can use a marker. If you don't have any dried up markers to make your own liquid watercolors, that's okay too. If you only have the pan watercolors, then use those. But try to make sure that you use them not very strong. Always mix them here and then put them on the paper. So you don't ever want to just take your paint from here right to your paper. It's going to be too dark. And because we're not using the best paper, it works better if you take it from here and kind of make a puddle of that paint here. If you don't have these, if you have no watercolor, then you can just color this with colored pencil. You can color with crayon. If you have chalk laying around, you can color it with chalk. Really, just use what you have, and I'm sure you'll make it look fantastic.